Hello everyone, I hope you're well and welcome back to my channel for another Friday Reads. The last video you saw from me was a Friday Reads last Friday, and I said I was going to put up an announcement video that week and I just didn't get around to uploading it. So that announcement video of my very own readathon is going to be up this week. I also last Friday said I wanted to see Scream 5 and I didn't get around to seeing it in cinemas, so hopefully I can see it this weekend. I'm reading the exact same two books as I was reading last Friday, so I'll just go through them really quickly. I'm reading My Mum Tracy Beaker by Jacqueline Wilson for my Patreon book club, and for my book club on this channel I am reading The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. So I'm still reading those exact same two books. I had a really weird experience with this book, and that's when I read something and it just doesn't make sense to me, I can't move forward with the book and with the plot. I get so hung up on it. I'm like, wait, that line doesn't make sense, and then I'll read it again and again and again and it just doesn't make sense to me. And there was just a description that I was thinking, what? So the description of this girl is she had crimson gold hair. Crimson gold hair. Sorry? Is she a redhead or is she blonde? And I was like, crimson, so that's dark red. Gold. Dark red gold. And then I thought, is she trying to say strawberry blonde? But she doesn't want to say strawberry blonde, she's thinking of something else. Crimson gold hair. I was stuck on it. I honestly couldn't get through it. I was like, crimson gold hair, what colour is her hair then? I could have just moved on. I could have just thought, you know what? It doesn't matter, Hannah, move on. But I kept going back to that bit. I would read on and then be like, crimson gold hair. So moving swiftly on, I'm still enjoying those two books. I bought a book off eBay. Here it is here, and I'm gonna open it up in front of you. So, oh, they put it in bubble wrap. It's a special parcel. See if you can see if you can recognize who this is before I show it to you. Who is that? Who is that familiar face? I will take the packaging off. This is a vintage book, and this is Judy Garland, a biography by Anne Edwards. So it is of course about the life of Judy Garland. This was published in 1975. It's by Anne Edwards, Judy Garland, a biography, and I like the tagline, so it's by Los Angeles Times. Their review of this is what it was like at the other end of the rainbow. And of course Judy Garland was made famous by Wizard of Oz, but she was in so many other musicals other than that, and so many fantastic records I have of hers. I love Judy Garland and I love Liza Minnelli. Like I spoke about Liza Minnelli a million times. I absolutely adore her. I have an original Cabaret poster from when that film first came out in the 70s. I have original sheet music that came out of Judy Garland's musicals that came out at the time. I have records of them. I'm just absolutely obsessed with both of them, and so I really wanted to read this book. And this obviously isn't written by Judy Garland, so it's not her words, it's Anne Evans, who I'm sure, like Edwards, that sure didn't know her in any kind of way, but it just sounded really intriguing. Hollywood in the 1920s, where stars were created, glamorized and lionized, and where child star Frances Gumm took her first step on the path that was to rocket her to worldwide fame and fortune. The beginning of the legend, Judy Garland. I don't normally read the write-up at the back of the books, but this is such a great write-up that I feel I need to read it, because I won't be able to like say it better than this write-up. In this deeply moving and penetrating biography, that legend is examined and stripped of its glittering veneer. Revealed is a lonely woman, desperately searching out love and affection, emotions she only discovered in the adulation of her millions of fans, kept going by pills and the pressure of those eager to abuse and exploit her. She was driven to breaking point, but still, the magic lingered on. Despite the dreams and nightmares, marriages and divorces, financial crisis, and her tragic early death, the sensational Garland legend still survives today. Oh, I love that so much. It has pictures of her in here as well. Oh, look, there's her like young in there. That might be from the musical Me and My Girl. Cause yeah, for Me and My Girl, which is really good. Oh, they've got pictures of her and Liza. Her and Liza Minnelli, oh, so gorgeous. I actually have the vinyl, and it's her and Liza Minnelli in London. They did a concert together because Judy Garland ran out of money and she had to come back to London, and she did this concert with Liza Minnelli, and she did concerts by herself. But her and Liza's voices just, oh, they are absolute perfection the way they go together. I'm so excited to read this. If you want a really good Judy Garland film. The one with Renée Zellweger is amazing. Renée Zellweger looks exactly like Judy Garland. Judy Garland, before she died, was very thin. People think it was because of the pills she was taking, and also she had an eating disorder. They think it was to do, everything to do with her life is really speculation, because she didn't really go into a lot of things. But the Renée Zellweger film, oh my god, it is so good. The portrayal of Judy Garland, that she was this fun character, that yeah, she was tragic and she was sad, but she was also full of life, amazingly talented, and just this fun character that everyone wanted to be around, and a really warm person. I love it. The only criticism I have of that film is the actress they choose to play Liza Minnelli, who she's hardly in it, she's in it one scene, doesn't look anything like Liza Minnelli. Like, you couldn't have chosen a worser person. They chose someone who had a cropped hairstyle, that was it, but she looks nothing like Liza. But the film is absolutely perfect, and it's set in the time, so it has flashbacks to Judy Garland when she was in The Wizard of Oz, but it's set in the time when Judy Garland came to London. She ran out of money, no one wanted to hire her because she was known as being really unreliable in America, that she wouldn't turn up for certain shoots or she'd turn up drunk, and so she went to London, where in London her popularity was so high, and she went there to make money, and it was a bit of a disaster, but it kind of worked out a bit. And then she had this relationship with this man at the end of her life. And then she did die not long after when the film is set. She died, and it was an overdose, but it wasn't really an overdose. So she died of drugs, but it was drugs that were built up in her system. So she didn't take a load of drugs in one go. She didn't intend to kill herself, but because she'd been on so many drugs for such a long time, so many different prescription pills, because that built up in her system, that caused her to have organ failure. And she didn't know that anything was wrong with her, that she was going to have organ failure. So she didn't actually commit suicide. When people say Judy Garland commit suicide, I'm like, she actually didn't, because she didn't take a load of pills in one go. There was also loads of pills left in her room, which if you're going to commit suicide, surely you'd take all of them. It was just a build up in her system which caused the organ failure. She never meant to commit suicide. At the time, she had like quite young children. Liza Minnelli was grown up, but she adored Liza, and she had two other children, a girl and a boy, that were still young, that she wanted to get back custody of, and she wanted to earn enough money so she could buy a house for the children, because the children's dad had them. And Judy Garland was living in hotels because she'd run out of money. She didn't have enough money to get her own place, and so she had to come to London to earn enough money to take it back to America, to buy a house, to get back custody of her children. That was the whole plan. That didn't happen. She ended up dying, but it wasn't a suicide, it was an accidental death, really, but it was abusing her body for such a long time. And the film goes into that, and the film has her two young children in it. They're portrayed in the film. I just think it's a really great film, and I think also a lot of Judy Garland things are just so depressing. They're like, you know, she just had a sad life from start to end, and that's it. She didn't. She had a fantastic career, and that's her daughter Lorna. She didn't like the Judy Garland film for Renée Zellweger because she said she thought it focused too much on the negative, which I do get that, but it does also highlight how talented she is. And there's these two men that are a gay couple, and they come and see her at the show, and it's about her relationship with them as well. And one of them went to prison for being homosexual, and it goes into that, and she was very much known as a gay icon and being for gay rights, so it also goes into that like political thing of the time. And it does go into how much joy she brought people, and how much she just loved to perform, and she just wanted to perform. It does talk about that as well. I do understand that a lot of documentaries that I have watched about her they're very sad, they're focused on the negative parts, but she was insanely talented. That's why she was in so many musicals, so many shows. She had, Judy Garland, her own show where she had very famous people on the show, and it was kind of like a cabaret show. It was so good. They're all on YouTube if you want to watch it. They are so good. The one with Barbara Streisand is so good. Barbara Streisand is like young in it, and she's her guest, and they're kind of like sassing each other, and then they do songs together in an interview, and it's so good. I have been rattling on for too long as always, so I'm going to end this video here. I hope you have enjoyed me talking about Judy Garland, which has been the majority of this video. I'm going to end it here. I hope you have a great weekend. Hopefully I can finish off those two books that I'm currently reading over this weekend, and I will see you next week, definitely for a video. It will be an announcement video of a readathon that I want to run in February, and I hope you're going to join me. So I'm going to end this video here, and I will see you in a few days for another video.